Now, if this room were filled with Caucasians, they would have to admit, and they would admit, we have ruled. We ruled all you people. Only ones we haven't ruled are the ones that we haven't found, but if we find you, we'll rule you. Now, wait. Their rule was not a rule that you would say God would be pleased with, even though he permitted it. This is not God's way that we are living. You are of the righteous, but you are not living a righteous life. We are of the righteous, but we are not living a righteous life. And it's not because we don't want to, it's because we live in a society where evil is so pervasive. It is so effective that it is pulling us into behavior that we ourselves are shocked at what we do. Yes, sir, I'm going to try to do that. Now, if Asr is the time of the setting sun on the Western world, the setting sun on white supremacy, the setting sun on colonialism in all its forms, the setting sun on sexism, the setting of the sun of racism. You know, my dear brother Dr. Salam is here, and I understand he's written a book, and I would love to read. But Brother Akbar told me he has a question. Is the white man still the devil or something like that? Now listen, that's a great question. That is a powerful question. Because he's still the devil if you don't know yourself or him. Do you remember the Honorable Elijah Muhammad saying that if we continue to listen to him, he would have us so wise that we would have the enemy around our finger like a string, and we wouldn't even know it was there unless we looked at it? See, your rise into the knowledge and power of your own nature will negate his power to deceive. So he won't exist when you rise into Islam. He could be here, but to have an existence means that you're functioning in accord with your nature. But when we come into the nature of ourselves, which is Islam, submission to the will of God, and grow up into that nature, then the enemy cannot deceive us. That is why the question is asked in our lesson, can the devil fool a Muslim? But he's tricking the hell out of a lot of us. But when we grow to the point where we can spot the lie, deception, the deceiver's days are over. I don't know whether you've ever gambled. I don't know whether you've ever shot dice. And I don't know whether you've ever tried to load a pair. And when you roll it, it always comes up in your favor. Then by sleight of hand, when somebody else is, rolling, you give them dice that look the same, but it's really chance then. But when you've loaded the dice, you're not taking a chance. I don't know, I don't know nothing about these things, but however, once you discover the loaded dice, his game is over. See, when people rule with tricks and lies, once you understand the truth, and wise enough to spot the lie and see the trick, then the liar and the tricker's days are over. A new set of rules is set down. Dr. Salam, I wondered, when I read the scripture that the wolf would lie down one day, with the sheep. I couldn't understand that. Because I know a wolf, if he lie down with the sheep, either he's eating the sheep's mother and is too full to pounce upon the sheep that he's lying down with, or something is interfering with the nature of the wolf, that a sheep can lie down and the wolf can't touch it. What we're living in is the time of God, and he's interfering with Satan and Satan's world, and he won't be able to keep doing the things that he's been doing successfully. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that this world ended its time in the year 1914. And in one of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's writings, even though he talked about the 6,000 years of the rule of falsehood and evil, and I read it, the last time I'll read it again, he said the time, 6,000 years, ruled by the white race has been the worst of our known history. A time of complete troublemaking, war, bloodshed, and death of both the righteous and the wicked as never before. We can't argue with that. We are victims of that. But he said, we are only concerned with that which the present time holds for us. A thorough knowledge of the time and the changes to be made is the important factor for you and me. So let's get busy. We're going to deal with present time. Now, if the end of their world came in 1914, the end of the time, but their world has not ended. Why not? Elijah Muhammad said at the end of that time, they would be given a period of grace to allow for your and my resurrection. Now look at the words, resurrection. Because you cannot function fully in an environment of wickedness, falsehood, evil, and injustice.